Hello friends, it's Lisa and welcome to a new weekly vlog. So today's actually the 4th of October and I'm officially going to start on my trick or treat-a-thon TBR, my October TBR this week. I haven't had the most time to read yet this month, but this week I'm hoping that will change a little bit. I do have my sister's bachelorette this weekend, so that's definitely going to take away from some reading time, but I think the rest of the week I'm going to try and read some things off of my October TBR, some things also not on my October TBR, but we even knew I was going to change it. So today is actually Tuesday, and so yesterday, Monday, the start of this vlog, I did finish reading Fire by Kristen Kishore. I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I like it more than Graceling or not because they're both so different. This one is set in a completely different part of the world in this series, and also it's set like 30 years before Graceling, so it's just very different, but I really did enjoy it, and I'm excited to see if any of these characters or events get like mentioned or seen in future books in the series, because this is set so apart from the rest of the books that I'm curious to see if we see any of these characters or events get mentioned. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I loved the characters. I really liked the romance. There was also like a lot of political and court intrigue, and also I did cry a couple of times at the end of this book, which I wasn't expecting. So yeah, overall I just had a really good time reading this, and I'm excited to continue on with the series. I'm also excited that I finally finished this. I did start originally reading this. I checked on Goodreads when I marked it as currently reading. It was May 3rd this year, and I finished it on October 3rd, so exactly 5 months later I finally finished it. So very happy that I could take it off of my currently reading list, but also I did really enjoy it. And now we can get started on my October TBR, my trick or treat-a-thon TBR. I did start listening to the audiobook for 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. I think I'm like 16% of the way through this, and this book you're following 9 people, 9 strangers. They all get a list in the mail with all of their names on it, and they can't figure out why, what the connection is, and then eventually they learn that the people who are on this list are being hurt. We're not really sure what this list is, who is actually hunting them down, what's going on, but it's definitely an intriguing premise. I don't think it has the best reviews on Goodreads. Like, some of the people that I follow and am friends with on Goodreads don't seem to like this book, but maybe I'll enjoy it. I don't know. I don't have the best of luck with thrillers, but we'll see. Also, sorry if you can hear Sam eating his food in the background. We're about to get I almost said washing machine. No, a dishwasher delivered, and I'm on cat duty. I'm securing the cat so he can't escape. And so I brought his food up here. And of course, that's when he decides to eat, when I'm filming. But yeah, other than 9 Lives, I think I'm going to start The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson this week, which I'm really excited about. I was not anticipating reading this month, but it got added to Libby, and I got so excited that I just borrowed it instantly, and I'm definitely going to be starting that this week. And I'm really excited about it. I've really enjoyed Tiffany D. Jackson's books in the past. This one is like a Carrie retelling or reimagining, and it just sounds really good. So even though this wasn't originally on my TBR for the Trick or Treat-a-thon, I think I might switch out something with this book, just because there are so many books that I want to read this month that it's just not possible. So I'm gonna have to rearrange some things, I think. So yeah, those are kind of the reading plans for this week. 9 Lives and The Weight of Blood I think are going to be what I start the week off reading. Hopefully I can read more, but like I said, my sister's bachelorette is this weekend, so I don't know how much reading I'm actually going to be doing. I'm sure I'll bring my Kindle and a book this weekend, and like, I'm not gonna have time to read, but I can't not go somewhere and not bring a book with me. It's just not possible. But yeah, those are the reading plans, and before we get too far into this vlog, I did want to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Ana Luisa. So Ana Luisa is a brand that I have worked with many times before. I absolutely love the brand, what they stand for. They are creating high quality jewelry, but at a fraction of the price, and also without costing the environment. They are very conscious of the effect that a lot of other luxury jewelry brands have on the environment. So Ana Luisa is doing their part to not put anything harmful into the environment when when crafting their jewelry. They are climate neutral as well as water neutral, and everything, their packaging is either reusable or recyclable, which is just so great. All of their jewelry actually comes in these like reusable pouches, which I have used for a variety of things, not just like storing my jewelry, and I've used it for like coins and cards and things like that. So these are really great, definitely things that I reuse, and when I'm going to be traveling like this weekend for my sister's bachelorette, I'll be able to use them to store my jewelry. So definitely love that they include these with all of your packages with all of your jewelry. So Ana Luisa actually sent me 3 pieces to share with you all, and also please ignore how dry my hands are. The cold weather has officially started. Not cold, but you know, the fall weather, and my hands are going through it, so please ignore that. But first they sent the Sierra ring, which is this very like delicate, dainty kind of ring. It has a very like skinny band with a very small stone in the center, and I just absolutely love it. I actually saw this, it came up on my Instagram feed, and the second I saw it I knew I had to have it. It's just so cute, and I just love how small it is, and I think it'll look really nice stacked with other rings that I have. Yeah, it just is one that I think will be very easy to stack with a bunch of other jewelry and other rings, so definitely one that I am obsessed with and is very me. I also got the Amanda bracelet, which is actually in collaboration with Amanda Rachel Lee, who is someone that I adore on YouTube, so I also just really love the bracelet itself, and it has this very like pretty like star detailing on it, and it has like mother of pearl inside of the star. And something that I really love about this bracelet is how you put it on and how you adjust it. It's really easy to just move this piece like up and down, and it's really easy to put on one-handed, which is really great because I think sometimes with normal clasps on bracelets it can be hard to put on yourself. So that's like really easy to do by yourself, and also you can make it as like loose and dangly or as tight to your wrist as you want, which I think is really great. So yeah, I just absolutely love it. I think it's so stunning, and I just love how like dangly the bracelet is with these like extra bits of the bracelet kind of dangling down. I just really love it. And then finally I do have this necklace. It is the initial necklace, and so obviously I have the L letter because my name is Lisa, starts with L. But this is another one that I thought would look really nice stacked with a bunch of other necklaces. I do love wearing a bunch of necklaces together, so I think this is going to be one that will be easy to kind of make work with the other necklaces that I have. And I think that this would make such a great gift as well, because it's something that you could get for somebody else and get it personalized, whether that's their initial or if like you want to get one for your partner and have your initial. It's very like Call It What You Want by Taylor Swift, you know? It's very I want to wear his initial on a chain around my neck vibes, you know? So I just really like it, but obviously I don't have a partner, so I just got one for myself with my initial. But yeah, I just absolutely love it. I love how like tiny it is, how very like dainty it is. I think that that's definitely like my preference with jewelry. I'm not a big like statement piece type of girly, but I think if you want to take a peek at Ana Luisa's website, I'm gonna have a link at the top of my description for you guys to check out. But I think that's what's so great about Ana Luisa is that they have a variety of styles and a variety of different types of jewelry on their website for anyone to find and enjoy. I feel like no matter who you are and what kind of jewelry you like, you could find something on the Ana Luisa website that will work with your style and be something that you will love. So I think that that's so great. I think it's so great that they have so many options. So yeah, if you're looking to get yourself or a loved one some new jewelry, I will once again have the link for Ana Luisa at the top of the description, and you can use my code WITHLOVE10 to get 10% off your order. And I just highly recommend checking them out, taking advantage of that discount code, because I absolutely love Ana Luisa. I love their pieces. I think like 99% of the time if I'm wearing jewelry, it's from Ana Luisa. You all know how much I love them already, so definitely recommend checking them out. But yeah, thank you so much to Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video, and now we can just continue into the rest of the vlog. Alright, just got back from urgent care. That was fun. Don't have COVID, and I don't have strep throat, which is what I thought I had, so I think I just have allergies or like a cold or some sort of virus, so at least it's not COVID or strep. That's that was slightly concerning. So hopefully I feel better over the next few days. But because my sister's bachelorette is this weekend, I'm just going to spend the rest of the week kind of like just relaxing, resting, doing all that, just like taking care of myself to be fully ready and healthy for this weekend. But I did want to quickly check in because I have read some more of The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. I'm 31% of the way through this book, and I think I said that this is kind of like a Carrie reimagining. It's kind of told in two different timelines. There's like a podcast element talking about this event at prom involving Maddie, and also then like we're getting chapters leading up to the prom and all of the events that led up to this basically massacre that happened at prom. I think almost everyone at the prom was killed, and everyone is saying that Maddie did it. And Maddie kind of, as we're seeing, is getting bullied quite a bit. Everyone kind of finds out that she is black. She was trying to pass as white for as long as she could, but then people found out, and so now she's been subjected to a lot of racist comments, which has been very frustrating to read about. It's actually disgusting, the things that are being said, and it's just a very like frustrating read. But also she's just being bullied and picked on, but then she kind of finds out that she has these weird like powers. She's able to make things move. She has these weird abilities where things are kind of happening around her, and I'm interested to see like if it stays that way, if it stays like a paranormal type of aspect, if there is these weird powers going on, because sometimes with these types of books it might seem like it's paranormal or magic or something, but then it's like has a very real world explanation for these things. So I'm interested to see how that plays out, but it's very frustrating so far because some of these characters are so awful, because we're in the perspective too of one of the characters. Her name's Wendy, and she's like best friends with the girl who's been super racist and has been really bullying Maddie for a long time. But also Wendy herself is also very much like, she doesn't think she's doing anything racist. She thinks she's helping, but like she is kind of doing harmful things without even realizing. And yeah, it's very frustrating read, but it's also very intriguing. And the fact that we're getting like this podcast element where people are talking about the event after the fact, they're talking about what happened at this prom night. It's interesting to hear the facts of things that have happened, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. And just knowing that like so many people die, and I just really want to know what actually happened on that prom night. So it's really interesting so far. I'm excited to keep going. I'm hoping, because I'm just going to be like resting the rest of the week, that I will be able to finish this by Friday before the Bachelorette this weekend. I feel like it's going to be a pretty quick read because I definitely am really intrigued and want to know what's happening. So excited to continue on with that. And yeah, I think that that's really it for my reading updates. I did listen to a little bit of 9 Lives by Peter Swanson, but still not very far. I still don't really know what's going on yet. I'm still kind of getting introduced to all of the characters and everything. So gonna keep listening to that. But yeah, okay, that's it. I'm gonna go eat my food now because I'm very hungry. I was in urgent care and I'm very hungry. So I'm gonna go eat my lunch and hopefully just relax and do some reading, and hopefully I can finish The Weight of Blood maybe today. If not today, maybe tomorrow. That would be great. So it is now Thursday. Please ignore that I sound kind of sick. It's fine. It's not COVID, not strep, as I learned yesterday in urgent care. But today I think I'm going to be doing a lot of like prep for this weekend for my sister's bachelorette. I need to do laundry. I need to make a list of the things that I need to pack and bring and buy. So I definitely think I'm going to do that today. I'm definitely someone that needs to make a list of everything that I need to pack when I go away, because I will forget something if I don't. Plus I just love making lists. I don't know why. So definitely going to do that, and I need to start doing some laundry. But I think while I'm doing all of that, I'm gonna listen to more of 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. I think I'm like 25% of the way through that book, and I'm hoping that I can finish it today while I'm getting everything ready, because it's not very long of an audiobook. I think it's only 7 hours, and I am listening to it on 2 times speed, so I should be able to finish that today, maybe. If not today, definitely tomorrow. And like I said, I'm like 25% of the way through, but I don't feel like we really have any sort of idea or any like predictions. None of the characters really know what's going on. A couple of things have happened to some of the people on the list, but it's definitely like there seems to be no leads onto what is happening, and they're just all kind of, all the people who are on this list are maybe starting to like communicate with each other or just handle it in different ways. So I'm interested to see like where it goes, but so far it's just kind of, I don't know, there's just not a lot happening other than the characters being like, my name's on this list, I don't know what this means. And that's pretty much it. So I don't know, we're gonna see how it goes, but I think I only have like 5 or so hours. Excuse the motorcycle. But yeah, I think I only have like 5 or so hours left of the audiobook, so I should finish that today while I'm getting everything ready for this weekend. But I just wanted to check in with that because I really haven't talked about it much, but I also really don't have that many thoughts on it yet. It's kind of boring so far, but we'll see. When things happen to people, it's a little bit more interesting, but it hasn't really been that much. It's mostly just being in the perspectives of all these characters and them being like, I don't know what's going on. And that can only be so interesting for so long. So I'm gonna see where it goes. We'll find out if I like it or not by the end of this vlog, hopefully. And with The Weight of Blood, I only read a little bit more last night. I didn't do that much reading, but I'm also hoping that I can maybe finish that before I go away this weekend, just because I want to be able to move on to some other things on my TBR, the things I actually put on my TBR for this month. I feel like after the Bachelorette weekend, I'm going to have a lot more time to read, so I'm hoping that I can still get through a lot of the things on my TBR, but I'm hoping I can read The Weight of Blood before this weekend, and then after the Bachelorette, it'll be serious reading time. So yeah, I don't really have that much to update. I really haven't done that much reading. I just haven't done a lot of reading this week, I think, because I just haven't been feeling well, but hopefully once I start to feel better, I will hopefully be able to do a lot more reading. But also I'm very excited for the Bachelorette this weekend, and also I'm not going to promise that I'm going to vlog a lot while we're doing that, because I'm going to be trying to spend time with my sister and everyone at the Bachelorette weekend, but I'm sure I will film maybe some things to throw in this vlog. But yeah, okay, that's it. I'm gonna go get started on my laundry and making a list for this weekend, and I think I'm gonna put on 9 Lives while I do all that.
My cinnamon roll.
I love her. Oh my god, hi! It's kind of freaky how similar Tiger and Sam look.
Just 3 besties.
So cute.
Alright, hello friends. Happy Friday. I finally feel like a somewhat normal human being. I'm feeling so much better today. My throat definitely does not hurt really at all anymore, so that's really good. I'm feeling a little bit more energized. I don't feel as sick, so perfect timing for the weekend. I also was editing a bit of this vlog just so when I get back from the Bachelorette weekend, I don't have to edit as much of it, but while I was editing it, I noticed I was talking very quietly because my throat was just bothering me, so sorry about the very quiet voice, but I'm feeling better, so I'm back to being more loud. But it's Friday. I'm so excited for the weekend. It's gonna be such a fun weekend. We're kicking it off tonight by going and getting some drinks, and then we're leaving for the Bachelorette tomorrow morning, and I'm just so excited. It's gonna be so much fun. But I did want to update before the weekend started because I did actually finish listening to 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. I did listen to most of that while I was kind of packing and doing laundry and getting things ready yesterday. And this I'm definitely counting for the Friday the 13th prompt for the Trick or Treat-a-thon, which is to read a book with a number in the title. I definitely feel like for most of the prompts this month, I'm just gonna get to the end of the month and see what I end up reading and seeing what can count for certain prompts then. But because this one is like the most specific prompt that we have, I don't think I'm reading any other books with a number in the title. I'm definitely counting this for this prompt. But yeah, I keep getting like different holds in through Libby that are books that I did not put on my Trick or Treat-a-thon TBR. So we're just gonna see what I end up reading at the end of the month, and we can go through the prompts then. But hopefully I can kind of stick to my TBR. I would like to read most of the books I put on that TBR still, but this one I'm definitely counting for the Friday the 13th prompt. And so I finished that, and don't recommend. I gave it 2 stars. I did like that a lot of this book was set in various New England states. We see some characters who live in Maine and some in Massachusetts, and then there's like New Hampshire and Vermont mentions, which is very cool as someone who lives in New England. There were a lot of places and different things that were mentioned and brought up that I recognized, and I think Peter Swanson is from Massachusetts, so it makes sense, but that was just like a cool like thing for me to hear throughout the audiobook, hearing things that I recognized. And other than that, the only other interesting parts of this book is when characters, you know, got. That was the only interesting thing. I feel like every moment in between the moments of characters getting attacked by whoever is like hunting all these people down, it was just like following all these characters in their day-to-day lives, and it was just not that interesting. There weren't that many characters that were taking this list seriously or doing anything about it. A lot of them just went about their days, and I just didn't care. I did not care to see their everyday life. It was just not interesting. And there are 9 different characters who are on this list, so we get all of those those characters' perspectives throughout this book. And then we also do get a few like side character perspectives as well. So there's a lot of perspectives in this book that you get, and it can be really confusing for a few different reasons. I ended up making a list of all of the characters, mostly the characters whose names were on the list, just keeping track of their names and like what their careers were and where they lived, because I could not keep any of them straight. And it was like, if you would start a chapter and if I missed the name that was at the beginning of the chapter of whose perspective we were in, I would have no idea where I was, which character I was with. It was just so confusing to follow because of that. And also, all of these characters were so underdeveloped. They all fell so flat. A lot of them, because none of them had very distinct personalities from each other, a lot of them felt so similar that I could not tell the difference between a lot of them, which is why I made that list of the characters, because I couldn't tell the difference between a lot of them. There were some that were a little bit more distinct from others just because of certain things that they did or talked about, but most of them just felt the same. And so that didn't help with my like investment in the story either, because I just didn't care about the characters at all. They all felt the same. And this book is very clearly inspired by And Then There Were None. And even though I've never read that book, I kind of know the story, but even then, like, you don't need to know the story because they will remind you 50 times throughout this book that it's similar to And Then There Were None. Multiple characters bring up that book and read that book throughout this book. And it's like, it's so clear that the author is trying to plant certain things from And Then There Were None and make the parallels to this book, that when we get the reveal, it was just kind of like, okay, yeah, you told me this like 100 pages ago that was what was going to happen. So the reveal was also pretty underwhelming. I feel like the motivation behind why these particular people were on the list and why they were the ones being targeted was pretty obvious early on. Like, I feel like the seed was planted very early on. So the whole book, it's just kind of like, okay, clearly it's going to lead to that, and that's what it was. And the kind of reveal as to who was the one doing this and who was behind it, I think there were like a couple of different reveals within that, and one was definitely surprising. I didn't put one thing together, but it definitely in another way was also expected, and I knew exactly kind of what was going to happen. I don't know, it was just an underwhelming reveal, and the characters were underwhelming, the story was boring. It just wasn't good. So yeah, I give this 2 stars. I don't know, maybe I'm being a bit generous, but I feel like 1 stars are definitely reserved for like the books that make me feel really angry, and this book just didn't make me feel anything. So yeah, 2 stars, but officially the first book that I've finished for the Trick or Treat-a-thon. So, and I haven't done any more reading of The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. I think, gonna bring my Kindle with me this weekend, but the likelihood of me actually reading anything on a bachelorette weekend, unlikely, but I'm gonna bring it because of course I am. But I don't think I've read any of The Weight of Blood since last time I checked in. I don't think I read any of it yesterday. I also still have my hold on the Very Secret Society for Irregular Witches, I think is what it's called. I have that as well, and that's gonna return soon, so I probably should read that after The Weight of Blood. And none of these things are on my Trick or Treat-a-thon TBR, which is why I think by the end of the month, I'm gonna see what I end up reading and see if any of these books that weren't originally on my TBR can count for the prompts for the readathon. I think that's just gonna be the best way to do it. But I think those are all of the final reading updates. I'm gonna see if I can do any reading today. I don't know how much reading is going to be happening this weekend, so there may not be many reading updates beyond this, but I'm going to kind of get ready for this weekend and for tonight, and I'm going to try to include some pictures and videos and stuff for The Bachelorette this weekend in this vlog. I'll see what I feel comfortable documenting and including, but I'm really excited. It's going to be a fun weekend. Can't wait. And yeah, I will see you guys probably after this weekend, and I can do some final check-ins, and you'll see me in a very tired and probably hungover state. Woohoo! Okay friends, it's actually Tuesday of the next week. We are way past due of me wrapping up this vlog and giving some final updates, so I thought I would just do that very quickly. But this past weekend was my sister's bachelorette weekend, and it was so much fun. What I documented and could include in this vlog was basically just like the beautiful views. It was like peak foliage season. Like this past weekend was like the peak of the foliage, and it was so beautiful. There were also some beautiful sunsets. It was just such a nice area. We had so much fun, and we also had some very like obscure famous people encounters. We may or may not, I'm still a little confused on if it was actually him or not, but we may have FaceTimed Pitbull, like Mr. Worldwide, you know? One of my sister's friends had a friend that was at a restaurant, and I think she was seated next to Pitbull. So naturally we FaceTimed her, and I think we saw Pitbull and talked to Pitbull, but still not quite sure if it was actually him or not. Could have been just someone that looked like him, but I think it was. I think we got to talk to Pitbull on FaceTime. Not really. I don't think anyone could really hear each other because of service and how loud it was in the restaurant, but still very strange. And then on Sunday, we went to a brewery, and I don't know if anyone knows who Simply Nailogical is on YouTube. She has a YouTube channel. She does nail videos, nail art, those types of things. And I've watched her for a very long time, and like pretty sure her and her partner Ben and her sister Jen were at one of the breweries that we were at on Sunday, and no one else knew what was going on. My sister knew who she was, but no one else there knew, and I texted some of my friends. No one knew who they were either, and I was like, why is this only cool to me and my sister? So yeah, Pitbull and Christine from Simply Nailogical. What a weekend. But other than that, we did have a really good time, and I think my sister had a pretty good time as well, which is the most important thing. But as expected, did not do a lot of reading this weekend. I was a little busy, so I think I'm now like 40% into The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson, and my hold is running out on that and The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Both of those are running out in a few days, so next week's vlog will be crunch time of me reading those books and getting through them before they have to return to Libby. But I think now that like the personal life events are going to be slowing down, I think the rest of the month, honestly, I'm going to be doing really nothing except preparing for the wedding. I think I'm going to try and just kind of stay home as much as possible, kind of isolate, because I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get COVID before my sister's wedding. So it's going to be a very chill rest of the month. We can just kind of focus on the spooky season. So hopefully I'll be doing a lot more reading in the next coming weeks, in the next few vlogs. So yeah, still making my way through The Weight of Blood, but earlier in the week I did finish reading Fire by Kristen Cashore, and I ended up giving this 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. I feel like I read this like forever ago. Like I feel like last Monday was weeks ago, but it wasn't. But yeah, I finished Fire, gave it 4 stars, really enjoyed it. And I also read 9 Lives by Peter Swanson, gave it 2 stars, did not enjoy it really at all. So we've had a bit of a mixed bag, but at least I have completed a book for one of the prompts for the Trigger to Readathon, which is really great. But yeah, like I said, I think the rest of the month I'm going to be able to focus more on reading books for the Trigger to Readathon, as well as focusing on spooky season, watching some of my favorite spooky season movies and shows. So very excited about that. Also, once again, thank you so much to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you guys check out the link at the top of the description to check out Ana Luisa's website. You can use my code WITHLOVE10 to get 10% off your order. And I highly recommend checking them out and getting yourself or a loved one some high quality and beautiful jewelry. But I think that is going to be it for this week's vlog. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.